Hi, we're at the end of our third week. They are not having a session tomorrow morning, so I get to go home tonight. And I decided to do this video from what we call the fan area of the Capitol. I know the lighting's not the best, but look at how beautiful it is. So this morning, Business and Labor started at 9 o'clock, and we heard House Bill 184, which is not too interesting. House Bill 186 is called a loser pay bill, and apparently this is something that comes up every single session, and it's a bill that would require the loser in any lawsuit to pay the attorney's fees. And it kind of sounded like a good idea when I first thought about it until I heard all of the testimony and all the reasons that it's never been passed before. So I learned a lot about what would be called loser pay today. It was interesting to hear a representative say, I still have plenty of money in my pocket, but I would sure have a lot more money in my pocket if this bill had been enacted when I got sued with a frivolous lawsuit. So I thought that was an interesting quote. House Bill 274 was a bill to revise the licensing for outfitters and guides, and there were all of these great proponents up, and everything seemed like it was going fine. And then one man stood up and said, "Hi, my name's Mr. Mila Dragovich, and I'm from Butte, and I'm a sportsman." And he went through section by section of the bill and showed every single thing that was wrong with it. And it was a really proud moment for me to see a Butte sportsman there. He was the only person there representing an individual and a sportsman, and not someone who is a business owner. And I think that he did a really good job of expressing himself, and I was really impressed to see him there. So you'll see a picture of him at the end of the video. And thanks, Mr. Mila Dragovich, for doing that and being there today. We took executive action on a couple different House bills, and House Bill 259 passed, House Bill 261 passed, House Joint Resolution 4 did not pass. I voted for it. It was one I talked about the other day, and it was great to be able to vote with Representative Harris, because that probably won't happen too many more times in the rest of the session. I heard right after that meeting that a bill that I was carrying had been tabled today, which basically means it's done. And I was disappointed because I was under the impression that they were not going to take executive action on it today. Another representative had told me that she had postponed it so that we could work on this together. And so because she had said that, I didn't get a bunch of information to the committee that I had planned on giving to them to help them decide on my bill. And they decided on the bill, and they didn't have the information, and it's done, and that's disappointing. And I hope that the other representative who's carrying a similar bill can get it passed and make conditions safer for workers. So lesson learned, I guess, today. The Women's Caucus actually met at 11:30 today in the governor's office, and you'll see a picture of that at the end. And for about an hour, just had the governor's ear telling him what our major concerns are as women in the state. And, you know, the Democrats have a majority of women. 24 out of the 39 Democrats in the House are women. 24 out of 39, so that's almost 2/3. And overall, as a party, both the House and the Senate together, we are a majority of women. I thought you guys might be interested in that. So the issues we shared with the governor were covering uninsured Montanans, comprehensive health care issues, choice and pay equity, early childhood, Eastern Montana development, and corrections. It's been really interesting lately to see that we're having bills come out of these interim committees, which are committees made up of Republicans and Democrats, and there will be something that comes out of an interim committee. Interim means that they met in between the two sessions. So for the last 2 years, they've met and studied issues, and they make recommendations based on those studies for laws to be passed. And these hugely bipartisan bills will come to one of our committees here during the session and get killed because there's like a concentrated philosophy among the members on the committee. And it's really disappointing because if it's coming out of an interim committee with a unanimous vote, then it's something that everyone agrees would make the state run better, and you probably shouldn't kill it in committee. At the floor session today, we started with some music, some fiddlers. You'll see a picture of them at the end as well, and that was a nice way to start the day. We had a really quick session. There were no controversial bills. Everything had passed out of its committee unanimously, and so those were 138, 169, 193, 202, and 243. They were all freshman bills, so if you watched the video from today, you will hear lots of whistling, and that's all that initiation that happens when a freshman passes a bill. So it was fun, lots of clapping and laughing. Between 2 and 3 after the House session, I spent about a half an hour visiting with a woman from the Legislative Fiscal Department, learning about two bills that we were about to hear in Health and Human Services, House Bills 101 and 102, and she sat down with me and shared her expertise with me for about a half an hour, and it's just amazing how open and willing everyone who works in the Capitol is to educate these poor politicians that are up here having to make these important decisions. So we had a really good hearing, and on my way, I answered some constituent emails and stuck around until 5. On my way out of the Capitol, I was able to catch Charlie O'Leary testifying on House Joint Resolution 8, and I didn't know he was here and wasn't expecting to see him, and so I snapped a picture. You'll see that. And I would be headed to Butte right now, but I had RSVP'd yes to go to a dinner and meet some folks that starts at 6:30. So I'm gonna do this video and then go and meet the people that I promised I would go meet, and then I'm gonna come back to Butte for the weekend. Thanks so much for listening, and thanks so much for paying attention and being involved. Bye.